Entrepreneurship is a choose your own adventure game. As an entrepreneur, there are no rules. We make the rules.
Before you spend the money and go on an actual show that has cameras and it's in a studio, you get to practice your storytelling.
It's crazy how big impact some of these small little things have. But the problem is you can't just do it once.
Yeah.
You have to be consistent about it over a long period of time.
Like your time is valuable. If you don't set boundaries on it, people are going to take advantage of your time.
Yeah.
So time is money too. Like my time is way more important than the money.
If I have a disagreement with somebody, it's because I don't understand their point of view. That's how wars start. And if we just understood other people's point of views, we'd have a lot less conflict in the world.
Beautifully said.
Welcome back to another edition of the A-Lister Show, where we bring you movers and shakers, entrepreneurs, people doing amazing and interesting things. And today's guest is no different. Today we have the incredible, the inevitable Ollie, who is the host of Evolve Your Brand podcast. He's in the real estate industry. Super excited to get into it and find out about podcasting, real estate, and so much more. But first of all, I have a question. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. Alistair, thanks so much for having me on.
Hell yeah. This is the new studio. What do you think?
I'm impressed by so many things. First, I saw you running around. I'm like, this guy is ferocious. I love the fact that, I've seen you just elevate your show exponentially. And it's fun to watch, man. I just can't believe I don't think you've done this for a year yet, have you?
It's been about 2 years now. Yeah,
okay, the podcast?
I did my first podcast about 2 years ago. And it was a virtual podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when did you create the A-Lister?
That was about a year ago. No, one day it just hit me. I was like, there's another guy who has a podcast and anyways, I was thinking of what to call my show. And then I was like, I have a perfect name for the show. And then I went and I Googled it and I was like, it already exists. And I'm like, dang it. And everything already exists already. And then I had to think of something that was unique to me. And then one day it just hit me, like the A-Lister Show. Bring in A-listers, talk to A-listers. My name is Alistair. What's funny is most people don't even get that. It's funny. They're like, oh, the A-lister show, great name. Like, where did that come from? I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Most people don't get that?
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. After you explain it, they get it. They're like, oh, okay, I got you. A-lister, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's really good.
So
just to clarify, and we haven't made this announcement, so I don't think you knew. So we're no longer doing Evolve Your Brand podcast.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give an update to the audience. I think that's one of the cool things that I'm going to talk about today is how your brand does evolve.
Absolutely.
So with Evolve Your Brand, now it's a umbrella that includes all kinds of solutions for entrepreneurs and also saving time and working with experts. It's kind of wild.
So tell us about what it is that you do.
Yeah. So my name is Ollie Amirkhiz, and I'm a dad first. Love being a dad. That's my passion. That's what drives me every day. I got 3 boys. Luke is 18. He just graduated from high school, and he's going to study for the fire academy. Connor's 16, and I love middle kids. Love you, Connor. Trevor's 14. He's ferocious. I think that's the most important thing for me is like, what kind of father am I? Am I really, really showing them every single day what it takes to be a hardworking person, and especially what it takes to be a man in this world today? And then after that, I love being a mortgage advisor because, being a mortgage advisor, I love numbers and I love financial education and empowering people to be able to, especially in California, because it's wild from an affordability perspective. So, professionally, I'm a mortgage advisor, problem solver. I love real estate. I just think that there are so many different avenues that people can explore to change their life. And so I did the whole trade your time for money for a really, really long time. And that's great for like big companies, but it's really not good for your personal life being. So I think that's really, when it comes to my profession, I love being a mortgage advisor. And then with Evolve Your Brand, it's kind of wild. So I'm the founder and owner of Evolve Your Brand. Alistair, I'm in shock. Bro, I am in shock. Like how this has taken off. No, this was not the goal. Not at all, not even a little bit. And then to see the reaction that people have with the value that we create, it just makes you feel good because you're doing things for the right reasons, with the right intentions, with good, everything behind it has positivity and value. Doesn't that feel great when you do that?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's kind of, that's kind of my journey in regards to what I live every single day is just being, great dad, great parent, getting better as a mortgage advisor, and then really creating a community with Evolve Your Brand where people like yourself, people like me, we can build relationships and connections with people that believe what we believe, they trust and do business the way we do. And it's a very collaborative approach.
Yeah. So what's the next phase for Evolve Your Brand if that's no longer like the podcast or like you said, you're no longer the host of that, or what's the deal with that?
Oh, I am 1000% the host. But what I've done is the business has outgrown me and I'm a great mortgage advisor. But what I will tell you, I'm a terrible business owner for Evolve Your Brand.
Okay.
So I'm the visionary of it. I am not the day-to-day operations. And I think you're going to be there. Like, when we talk about it today, I've taken so many things away from your show that I've incorporated and I've moved up my timelines exponentially, based on what you were accomplishing. I'm like, dude, like I am literally 200 episodes in. How many hosts do you know that are 200 episodes in on video?
Very few.
Very few.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'm like, like I was at the forefront of this before it became a $3.5 billion industry. And then their projections are it's going to be closer to 7 billion in the next 5 years.
Wow.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
Where does that money come from? Is that from like sponsorships?
Yeah.
Or what does that mean?
Absolutely. It comes from, okay. So let's talk about Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you love Joe Rogan?
I love Joe Rogan. I'm a fan.
Okay. Who's your favorite host?
Like out of all podcasts?
Out of all podcasts.
Probably Chris Williamson or Tim Ferriss.
Okay. Let's talk about Tim Ferriss. Would you ever stop watching his show?
No.
How come?
Well, he produces good content. I like it. He's a smart guy. I want to learn from him. I just want to know more about him and what he's doing.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're devoted. You're like, dude, I connect with him. I trust him and he brings value to me.
Right.
So if he promotes something on his show, what's the likelihood that you might give it a shot?
Well, more likely because I trust him. Yeah.
I think that's why it's like a $7 billion industry. Like they do it with, there's advertising on all TV shows. It's just a different form of it. And, you and I follow Alex Hermosi, he makes this stuff really simple.
Yeah.
And I think people make it complicated.
Do you have brand deals on your podcast?
I do. Right now we have exploded with collaborations. We've exploded so much. We're reaching out to other podcast hosts and potentially launching a big project beginning of next year.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't have any brand deals, and I don't really want brand deals, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, some people tell me, oh yeah, you got to get your podcast big so you can get sponsors. And I'm like, I have my own stuff that I want to promote. I got my own business, And like, I don't know, taking some money to like hawk another product and like now I'm associated with that product,
I love that you said that. I'm going to give you a different point of view. Okay. I don't promote anything or any product I don't believe in. And I know they don't share my values and vision.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like that is really the reputation that I've protected Evolve Your Brand. I will not promote things and just take money just for the sake of taking money. I think that kind of, for me, this is just for Evolve Your Brand. I think everyone should do what feels right to them. Like, who are we to tell anyone else? Like, dude, you want to go down this? Go for it. Like, experiment. I don't know. Like, all of us are different. For me, I just think that, you should vet all your guests.
Yeah.
Make sure that, you're promoting people and standing behind people that share who you are.
Yeah.
And that way, when your network and your audience sees them, they could trust them too.
Yeah. And that's something you have to be careful about with your personal brand in all aspects, because a personal brand is basically a relationship between two things. And so if I show up on somebody's show and that person is a scumbag, well, now I'm a scumbag by association. Alistair went on that one podcast with that guy who's sexist and racist and this and that, And so now that's what I'm associated with. But a lot of the big guys, they're doing their own products. Like, The Chris Williamson, he has a drink. I forget the name of the drink. That's funny. Anyway, so I don't know how
it doesn't matter. Do you buy it?
Yeah.
Do you buy it?
No.
Okay, well then that's okay. Like you can buy it.
But and then a lot of the big guys, they have their own stuff, and that's what I want to do. Logan Paul has his Prime. Mr. Beast has his Lunchables and Candy Bar. And everybody has their own product. So I'm more likely to do that.
And that's awesome. Like what you talked about, you said that approach doesn't work for me. And I'm like, great, awesome. Yeah. Like, because what your approach is, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because that just from an allocation of time, I'm not excited about it. So I'll never throw my full passion behind it. And that's, I think, where I've made my life simple. Now it's much easier to say no today than it was even 6 months ago, because I said yes to everything. I just wanted to help people, and that can be a detriment, especially when you're getting as busy as we are.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship is a choose your own adventure game.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways to play. There's no rules. That's a beautiful thing.
I know.
You go work a 9 to 5, you got to do this, do that, do this. But as an entrepreneur, there are no rules. We make the rules. We define who wins. We define what winning means.
Alistair, is so funny. Like, I met a 19-year-old yesterday at a golf tournament, Noah, Sand Scrubs. I just want to give him a shout out. Dude, this kid's 19 and he goes to every networking event.
Wow.
So I'm like, he goes to more networking events than I do. And he's just a thirst of knowledge. I'm like, man, could you imagine at 19 if you were going and hanging around the network and people that I hang around with? It's wild.
Yeah.
Because you go in there just, I'm going to make a friend. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to be open-minded. And then you always get value out of those networking events. It's 100%.
Crazy. I'm not a huge fan of the networking events.
Yeah.
I mean, some people love them. I'm more of like an internet marketing guy. That's how I like to like sit behind a screen and like put dollars in and get dollars out, But once in a while I'll show up to one and just, if there's some, like for a while I was on a real estate kick where I was learning a lot about real estate. And so I would go and meet people and like learn. Yeah. So it depends on what you want to do.
And it's funny when I hear you say that. I've gone into this like brand coaching mode because I get a lot of questions from, past guests that have now become friends, and where, I would give you some food for thought with these networking events. So you have a great show, I would say top 10, 15 in San Diego, as far as shows that I will promote for people to go on. If you don't go network at these exclusive ones, where there are the people that you want to connect with, that you want to build relationship with, and you're a connector in my opinion. I think I didn't realize that. And my branding coach, Brandon Fortino, said, Ollie, it's so weird. I don't normally see entrepreneurs that are great on digital networking and in person. Mm-hmm. You have both. And I think that's the reason the community that you're building, like Alistair, I am in shock, the community that we're building.
Yeah.
So when the creator of the community says, I don't know what's going on, just run with it. And what we do is it's all about value, innovation. How do we make things better? So it's like, let's give each other's pat on the back. And then how do we continue to create events and content where people connect with it and they're like, I like them.
Yeah.
I trust them.
Why did you start your podcast in the first place?
Man, I don't think I've ever. So the first podcast I did was when I first became a mortgage advisor, and it was with my mentor, Kelly Klein. And I have no idea what made me even, I was intrigued by it. I'm like, it would be cool to have a podcast. And I was trying to stand out in an industry where I was brand new. Like, I didn't know. I'm like, dude, these people have like 10, 15, 20-year databases. How do I compete with that? And everyone I talked to about social media and content creation, branding, marketing, they said that was a complete waste of time. They said, don't do that. You're all you need to do is sit behind the phone, call agents every single day. And that does work. I agree with that. It just wasn't me though. So, and I've gotten to know myself really well since I became an entrepreneur. Holy shit. If I'm not passionate about something, I just don't want to do it. So now I'm like, okay, So if I'm passionate about something, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like there is no stopping whatsoever. I love it. I will never run out of energy. Do you want to know what's funny? My team owners turn around to me and say, bro, you need to take a day off. No. He literally, Alistair, every single week when we chat about, life and business and those are the people I love because it's relationship. So we'll talk. He's like, bro, you are going to crash. So this past week, I love him and we're getting to know each other. And I'm like, hey, buddy, can I share something with you? I am not going to crash. Like I literally wake up at Mach 10 and I go to sleep at Mach 10. It's just how I live. Like when I'm passionate about something and I care about people, like if you do right by other people, and you work hard and you really, really just have optimism and drive and vision, I'm all in. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Like I'll give you 10, 15 minutes. I'll connect you with someone that can help you. Just, you got to follow through. You got to follow through. And I've worked with so many team members on Evolve Your Brand and it's been rough, man, because like, I think people are surprised as an entrepreneur, it's my responsibility at the end of the day. I got to get this stuff done.
Yeah.
I got to get this stuff done. And when you give excuse after excuse, like if you can't step up for you, how can I ever expect you to step up for us?
Right.
And I think that's the challenge where, just people, I want to be as direct as possible, but I'm not going to follow up for you to like show up. Like that to me, if you take on a position, be all in. Make sure a position fits you.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of our team members and we've gone from no employees on Evolve Your Brand to now 6 employees.
Wow.
So it is moving very quickly. And the reason why I haven't relaunched season 2 back over again, part 2, we're not ready. So we're going to do it right. Great standards, making sure that we are the show every entrepreneur wants to be on.
Right.
Because why would you not want to evolve your brain?
And how do you do that?
We are going to do outreach. So
So that's, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but so outreach might be a way that you get people on the show, but what do you mean by making it a show where people want to be on? What does it look like?
That's great. Fantastic question. So what we do on Evolve Your Brand is we share stories. We are storytellers. Everything was built behind that. Stories allow us the opportunity to connect emotionally with one another. It helps me understand who you are, what you stand for, how you're an expert in what you do, and how you're different in what you do. I think it's that connectability. Like when I buy, like one of my favorite things is coffee. Okay. So when I go to a place, they have great coffee. I'm just like, oh, dude, great coffee. Let me give them a shout out. It's just I connect with that brand. I like the brand. I like the vibe. So that's I think where there's so much content right now. So much. Everyone wants your attention. Everyone wants your attention. So if you're really not you, how are they ever emotionally going to connect with you when they see your content?
Right.
So let's say you do that attention grabber. You do the hook. Okay. So you got my attention. Now what? Now what? Like seriously, you got it. What are you going to do with it? Oh, nothing. What do you think the chances are that person is going to trust or like you?
Not very high.
Not very high because they didn't follow through, And so now I'm focused on how do I really share my story, what makes me different, and then just get comfortable. So when someone comes on the show, they're like, oh man, I feel like I really know Ollie. I like Ollie because I watch his content. And Alistair, people consume our content. They don't just watch 10 minutes. They'll watch an hour and 40-minute podcast. Alistair, I don't watch my own show for an hour and 40 minutes. I don't do that. So it is a huge compliment for someone to dedicate that amount of time to sit down. How many people have said, hey, I sent it to my family. They loved it. They said that's the first time that I was myself and my personality came out. If you could do that, Alistair, what kind of impact and content do you create for people?
Great content. I mean, it helps people connect with people.
Right. And that's all we do. And so I figured entrepreneurs need content, they need branding, they need advertising and marketing. That's what they need. What are they short on? They're short on time. So I figure that podcasts and shows are a great content hack.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, where can you go where you dedicate 3 hours a month to 3 different shows and you get almost a month and a half to 2 months of content? Is that worth it to you?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
You said hell yeah?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, it just took me 6 years to figure that out, bro.
Yeah.
You said hell yeah.
Content is the gold. That's how, you can connect with people. And I'm just realizing, recently more realized that stories are so important. And the stories is how you can convey something to somebody. You can tell somebody the facts, but when you tell them a story, it really helps it stick. And so people have to learn how to get good at stories and telling stories, and podcasts is one of the best ways to do that.
It's built for it.
But it also takes practice, because you can get on a podcast and just talk about facts and whatever and this and that. But sometimes you have to, it's something you have to actually practice. Like, what are the stories that I plan on telling when I go on this podcast?
You're so good. Can I give a tip?
Yeah.
Okay. So, entrepreneur, you've never been on a podcast, you listen to this and you're like, dude, I'm going to do that. That makes perfect sense. This is so logical. Why haven't I thought about it? All you need to do is research local podcasts in your area. So whatever area you're in, go on some Zoom ones that are free. Okay. There's a lot of people. Alistair, how hard is it to get guests?
It's actually not hard.
What for you? For when you're first starting out, how hard is it to get guests?
Well, it's hard, especially if it's a Zoom, because
Right.
But like the in-person, people love to come to the in-person because they make great quality.
Right. So Zoom hosts might have a little more challenging time getting guests.
Right.
So if you reach out to them and say, hey, I would love to come on your show. This is my story. This is what I'm all about. This is what I would love to talk about. They might be open to doing it. Now, it might take you 10 or 15 to get on 3, but that's okay, because I think everyone, most entrepreneurs that I've interviewed have said, hey, Ollie, like, how do you expect to do this? That's another job. I'm like, absolutely. It's another job. So if you can, hire a content creator. If you can't, welcome to entrepreneurship, where you are your own content creator until you get enough revenue where you can outsource it. So that's a great way. And you get to practice your storytelling a lot before you spend the money and go on an actual show that has cameras and it's in a studio. So because I'm not a marketer, all I do is just take my experience as an entrepreneur and now as a practitioner, marketing owner, whatever you want to call it. And I would say Evolve Your Brand is a storytelling company. That's what we are. Like, we help people tell their stories. Mm-hmm. That's what our brand stands for. And I love that, because if I know your story, how much easier is it for me to like you or not like you?
Way easier.
Way easier.
I mean, that's where a lot of the problems in the world come from, is because we don't. I mean, if I have a disagreement with somebody, it's because I don't understand their point of view.
Yeah.
That's how wars start.
Yeah.
And if we just understood other people's point of views, we'd have a lot less conflict in the world.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
What's your next question?
Well,
Are you having fun though?
I am. This is great.
Okay. I said I was going to prepare for your show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alistair, bro, like, I'm so happy for you. I just want you to know, when it comes to hosting San Diego, I have you in my top 10 list.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're one of the shows that I would highly promote for people, because you do the work.
Yeah.
You do the work. This guy, go check out his story.
So other than a podcast, so is Evolve Your Brand mostly just a podcast, or do you do other stuff too?
Okay. So I no longer, I'm helping educate the space on this. Okay. So a podcast is audio. Okay. What we have is a show. So it's video, and the content is evergreen. So it's never, ever going to go out of style. So what I can do with this episode in 5 years, go back and say, hey, I was the second guest on the A-Lister show in their studio in 2014.
24.
I'm sorry, what 2014?
What decade are we in?
Wow, man, I went back in time. You know, if you know what? I know what it is. I wish I would have started creating content.
What were you doing in 2014?
I don't. Okay, so I was working a W-2 job, married, and probably not happy. Yeah.
What job?
I was okay. So I was a regional director for a vendor that did the wireless at Costco.
Okay, cool.
And I did that for 11 years. That was about like 8 years too long.
Wow.
But it was, you know what? I think that's the story that I do want to share with entrepreneurs. What I would not fight anymore, like Alistair, I always had problems with authority. Like I always had entrepreneur spirit. Like I had no business ever working for anyone else because I love creating stuff.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm so passionate about it and then making a difference and making an impact. An entrepreneur, like, oh my goodness, I couldn't do anything else ever.
Yeah, it's hard. I couldn't imagine going back at this point. I burnt all the boats. I burnt the bridges. Like I can't go back. You know.
Did you burn the roads too?
Yeah, I burned the roads. Like I salted the fields. Like,
Man,
just
okay, scorched earth.
Yeah, but you know what I haven't done? I haven't updated my LinkedIn.
How come?
I don't know, because LinkedIn for me is always. Do you use LinkedIn?
Okay. I'm so glad that you brought that up. Sometimes it's like things are meant to be. Bro, I've been kicking myself on my LinkedIn execution. It's been terrible. And absolutely. Okay. If you're an entrepreneur and you're not on LinkedIn, like we're all missing this big opportunity.
Yeah.
Like huge.
Yeah, I hear that.
Huge.
I think the reason why I haven't, because my entire life, LinkedIn has been for like professional, like corporate. And like on my LinkedIn, I worked at Facebook as a project manager.
Yeah.
I worked at Apple as an engineering project manager. And it's funny, I've always like been waiting for the day that I can go in there and put my own business as as my job title, like CEO of A-list media.
Yeah. I mean, Alistair, I'm going to break it to you. You are like in San Diego. This is how we roll.
Yeah.
Like you match your community. You ask me what the future is for Evolve Your Brand franchising. Absolutely. Like it's a no-brainer. Find a great guest, find a great host in every city. You create a platform and a stage for local heroes to come on. They share their stories. It's an easy way for them to create content. They don't have to be content creators. Okay. One of my favorites, if you have not seen this, I'm sorry. I'm going to go off on a tangent right now. There is a Seinfeld meme, and you have to look it up. And it says, every business owner in 2024, not 2014. And it's just like, what are we doing with our lives? So Jerry's going off. He's like, what are we doing with our lives? Like everyone now that's an entrepreneur is also a content creator.
Yeah. Well, not everyone, but they probably should be.
Well, what I'm saying is everyone that wants to stay around in 5 years.
Yeah, there you go.
I really don't know. I hate to break it to people that are really rigid, entrepreneurs, to branding, content creation. What I would advise for people is figure it out because it's free and your competition is doing it. And Alistair, one thing that I'm very concerned with is all these marketers that are pretending that they're experts in their space and they're not. And they're giving people bad experience. And especially in real estate, that's kind of dangerous because you're messing around with people's futures and lives. So just because you're a great marketer doesn't make you an expert in the industry that you're marketing for.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that? I'm curious, seriously.
I think there's a lot of people that are trying to teach before they've accomplished something. And people are because it can be easy to fake your way into being a guru by being on social media. But the real ones you can tell because they've actually accomplished something. And Alex Hormozy's method of creating content is to do something and then talk about it. And so a lot of people just skip the do something part and start talking about it.
Oh, Alistair, this blew me away. So I've become a part-time director for some of my friends. Okay. And what I mean by that is this. I didn't realize what an absolutely wonderful hack it is that when you record content, so if you have the revenue and assets to be able to do a monthly studio session, I would highly recommend you do it and then get a director. So I'm a huge fan of my branding coach. He's a badass, Brandon Fortino. And so he came in and directed me. as we started working together. Holy smokes. Alistair, we knocked out 45 pieces of content in 2 hours.
So by director, someone that helps you to create your content.
Yeah.
Okay. So they might ask you questions or have topics and then you respond to those things.
He had, I basically gave him who I was. I gave him a full bio. Like, we've hacked this. You know what I wanted to do was this: make content creation, branding, marketing, and advertising easy for entrepreneurs, because we don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've learned in 6 years of building out Evolve Your Brand. We don't have time.
Yeah.
And no matter how much someone tells you you need to do it, your excuse to yourself is going to be, I don't have time. And you're right. You're right. To be upfront with you, if I had to go back and redo the past 2 years, I would have prioritized my mortgage business way more than growing Evolve Your Brand. I'm glad I did it, but a decision that I'm rethinking down the road. I'm glad I did it though, because you never know what's going to happen. What ended up is I can't allocate my time to two powerful things. And my mortgage business is very powerful, and Evolve Your Brand has outgrown me. You know, that's where you got to have some humility and say, I need some help. It's outgrown me. And if I want this thing to grow and build a great community, I'm not doing Evolve Your Brand for money. I'm doing Evolve Your Brand for the community. I love people, man. I think if we go out there, we connect and network with most people. Some people have some incredible stories, and it's mind blowing to me. I'm like, wow. All right. Put your life into perspective.
Yeah. So one thing I've kind of been playing with and thinking about a concept is that we actually don't lack time, and what we lack is energy. And this is something that I've been thinking about for me. So it's not that I don't have time. It's that my energy is used up by other things. And I haven't talked about this that much, because when I say this, I realize is energy finite? Because can I demand more energy from myself? Can I recycle energy somehow? But typically, if I see somebody's write a comment on my post and it's whatever, it triggers me and I feel like it makes me mad and I want to respond to it. Now I'm responding to this thing. I'm thinking of the perfect reply, and then I hit reply. And now I'm waiting for this person to rebuttal, and then that sucks energy out of me that I could have been writing something or doing something or making something. And so then it's not that I didn't have time, it's that my energy was diverted. I feel like we all have the same amount of time in the day. Elon Musk can create this amount of companies and with the exact same amount of time that we have, but he's, working 1 million hours a week, and so energy, a lot of times, at least for me, has been the limiting factor.
Okay.
And if you think you don't have time, look at your screen time and tell me how much you've been scrolling in the past week.
I agree with you. And I think if I wasn't talking about an entrepreneur, you have a lot of validity to what you're saying. With me, I was just talking about my particular, my learning, my aha moment was that because I'm such a giver, sometimes our best attributes are counterproductive. Because I was such a giver, I was giving my time to things that really weren't in line with where I'm going. Mm-hmm. So that was a misallocation of time for me. I also agree with you when it comes to the energy. Energy is everything. So today marked, what's today? 17th? Okay. So it's October 17th. I've worked out 17 days past 2 days. Thank you. I'm not waking up and doing the Alistair before 5 a.m. I've been waking up at 5:30 because Luke and I, when he's when he's spending the night, we're going to work out at 6 a.m. So we've been doing it. It's a father and son thing. It's something that I wish my dad would have done with me. And I'm encouraging Nate Shipman.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Nate. Do you know why I'm a huge fan of Nate? Nate is encouraging parents and kids to work out together.
Yeah.
Like an activity, like a family activity. And the cool thing is, I think we're healthier in San Diego than most other cities, but that's something that I struggle with most of my life. Bro, I was 376 pounds.
Wow.
Do you think it's fun to live life at 376 pounds?
Mm-mm. That's tough.
So when I lost all that weight in 2018, people were like, dude, you lost a person. And that hit me. Bro.
Yeah. You had a
Alistair, I don't even know what to say, bro. When someone turned around to me and they're like, "You lost a person," I'm like,
you had a person on your back and you were carrying them around.
I know.
Every time you get up out of a seat, you're carrying a person on your back.
I know. And never like
gone.
You think what I've
And you don't miss them at all.
Oh no. I actually have the driver's license picture. So I will not replace that driver's license. So I'll keep that picture. Because actually the last 2 years, just so everyone knows, it's not glorious being an entrepreneur. The past 2.5 years in real estate have been absolutely brutal because I do real estate in a different way. I care. So the advice I give you is based on your goals, not mine. I'm not a transactional real estate professional. I'm not going to just give you advice and I'm being critical of our industry because it needs some criticism. Okay. To be real, I think we're too transactional and we can bring more human elements. All the successful real estate professionals I know, whether they're a mortgage advisor or a real estate agent or anything, they're all relationship based. They all care about the people that they serve. You know, unfortunately, there isn't that much of a barrier to entry in the industry. And so what happens is people come, they don't know what they're doing, and then it gives us all a bad reputation. And I think that's common for a lot of industries. But the whole point being like, dude, I've learned if I want something, I really want it, I have to be able to prioritize my time. So I'm giving 80% of my energy to the 20% of the most important activities that are going to move everything forward. Because I said my goals are serious to me.
Yeah.
If my goals are serious to me, then unfortunately, I got to learn how to say no. And that was the biggest learning this year. I just couldn't say no because I felt bad. I'm like, dude, of course I want to help you out. I've learned valuable lessons. Most people don't want to help themselves out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've been on my coaching journey, so I teach people marketing. A lot of times people think they need marketing, then they get in with me and they realize like it's not just a marketing problem. But most people, if you give them, here's what you got to do, won't do it. You know, it's like, here, do this, do that. Call the leads. So I don't want to call the leads. I'm busy. You're like, okay, well then how are you going to grow your brand? You know, or how are you going to grow this company? Because this is what you need right now is to do this. And very few people that come through my program are the actual action takers. And right away, I know who's going to be successful and grow their company. It's because they follow what they're supposed to be doing.
So how do you approach it? Okay. And this is a marketing question for you. How do you approach the business owners and having the conversations with them when they don't do what you know they need to do to grow their business?
That's out of my hands. I don't even feel bad about it. It's like, I can't run your business for you. I can't do this stuff for you. If you want to grow, here are the steps. And we meet on our next call. Did you do these steps? No. Okay. Next call. Hopefully you do them by the next time I see you. Like, that's it. That's all I can do. You know, like I can't, unless I'm an investor or have an active role in your business, my role is to help show you the way. Right. And you have to take it from there. Some people do. Those are the ones that are successful. And the other ones, you know, I can't do it for you.
You know, I'm glad that you share that with these entrepreneurs. I think a lot is being thrown at entrepreneurs, especially in California. You know, costs go up, taxes, everything is just like working against you. And it's like you don't, like, between family and, you know, life, it's like you don't prioritize, you know, the marketing because it's work. It literally is another job. Yeah. It's hard. And what I've realized now, Alistair, I don't have a choice. I really don't. I don't have a choice because there's no excuse for not getting your message out there on what makes you different. So where I challenge some of the friends that I've made and the rooms and the network and the circle of people I have, I want to thank each and every one of them. I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the impact you have on my life. Like, I don't even know what to say, Alistair. Like, I have some of the, like, I'll put my network against anyone's. I have some incredible people in my network that are just great human beings, and they live life with passion every day. How do you not get better?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're in a room with people, so I heard this thing is like your desire doesn't come intrinsically, it comes from the people around you. So let's say that you're in a job, okay, and you're getting $100,000 salary. And then and you're like happy. It's enough to pay your rent. You're good with that. You always wanted a $100,000 salary. And you're in a room with 10 other people in your same role. One day you find out that everyone else is making $1 million. All of a sudden, how happy are you with that $100,000 salary? You're pissed, right? It doesn't even matter. Like, you didn't earn any less, but all of a sudden, that same salary that you were happy with yesterday now is no longer valuable because the people around you. And so now your desire to make $1 million per year that's what your new goal is, because everyone around you is making that same thing.
And I think that's a great analogy for social media too. I think, people create content like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and they think, oh, well, that's good enough. I got to be upfront with you. Do you know, I know successful entrepreneurs that record content every day. That's who you're competing with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like these are just the facts.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some people, and whenever I see someone that's crushing it, I know it's because they're putting in the work. Yeah. And it's like, oh, this person has 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And then I'm like, how do you do that? As if I don't know. How are you doing that? They're like, oh yeah, I go live 3 times a week on YouTube and I post 5 YouTube videos a week. Like, oh, yeah, of course. Well, yeah, that makes sense. That's why you have 1 million subscribers. Because how long have you been doing that? For like 4 years. Oh, well, yeah, that's why you have. It's just people underestimate the amount of work that it takes to be successful.
Oh, and Alistair, anybody watching this, reach out to me. I'll let you know how hard it was. It was brutal. It wasn't fun. There's no coaching I'm selling. Oh, by the way, I tried being a branding coach. No, thank you. No, thank you. I try to do it for I give my friends, like my circle, like they'll call me for questions all the time. And it's a huge compliment and I appreciate it. And then it got to a point where I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know, like we've been on the phone for like 30 minutes. If I were to do this for you, I charge you this, just FYI. And I'm glad to help, but I learned I'm not passionate about that.
Yeah.
Doing other people's branding, no thank you. I love like storytelling, and I think that's where I would say experiment with different things. Okay, if you don't know where to start, and if you haven't started, please do. Like I'm genuinely, this is like a shout out to all the business owners that have been in business for a decade in California. Hey, Alistair, think about how much they've struggled. COVID, they stayed through that. They've owned their business for 10 years. And the one thing that they don't prioritize is, how do I actually brand, market, and share our unique story so I build my own community?
Yeah.
How many business owners that you talk to think about business that way right now?
Everyone wants to focus on being the best at what they do and having the best service, which is probably a prerequisite. Yeah. But a lot of times it's a commodity. Like you look at real estate agents and what do? They show people houses, they provide a service, but there's no lack of agents to choose from. And so the challenge and the bottleneck to those types of businesses becomes the branding and the marketing. And so people, they think they're in one business, that you might think you're in real estate, but you're actually in marketing. And as soon as you start to realize that you have to be a good marketer, you're going to struggle. And you're going to be second rate compared to someone who's a good marketer and an average real estate agent, for example.
Yeah. I want to clarify. I like what you said, and I get this a lot, because I didn't really understand real estate the way I do now before I got into it. Now that I'm into it, oh my goodness. Hey, Alistair, there are real estate professionals in my network that earn every penny that they get. They blow people away. They become family with the clients that they serve. Those people, I would pay whatever they wanted, because I know they're going to take all the headaches of real estate off my plate. They're going to set the right expectations, like any marketer. We've met good marketing people, good hosts, good bad hosts. I think in any industry, the good ones, that's why I always recommend talk to 3 people. whenever you're going to start your real estate journey, and don't use your sister-in-law or that has their real estate license. That's just my professional opinion. San Diego, okay, it is the NFL of real estate. I know it's funny, but it's not funny. Like, it is such a struggle to become a first-time home buyer here. I feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, when I go to open houses, I actually apologize the first time. Hey, I'm so sorry. I know it's really tough. Stick with it. You know, like, what questions do you have? Every single time. Because I know what they're going through.
Yeah.
You want to become a homeowner, you bust your tail, you sacrifice, you're having your first kid, you're having your second kid. You're like, yeah, I want to stay in the finest city on the planet forever. Let's buy a house. Interest rates. No homes to buy. The homes that are affordable need a lot of work. Do you know what a deal is today in San Diego? A home that hasn't been fully renovated. It's probably got, 80s, 90s, some updates. And that's the deal. Because if the home is renovated, it's going to sell for top dollar because every buyer wants turnkey.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's like, if I were going to hire a marketing person, wouldn't you do the same exact thing? Talk to 3 guys. How are you going to solve my problem? Did they actually take the time to get to know you? And what makes them stand out? I'm shocked at how many people I ask, like, hey, what makes you different in your space? Like, what are the pros and cons? And they can't answer it. Alistair, buddy, like, I have a question for you. Is that an important question to ask someone right now?
Yeah.
When you're doing business with them?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What are your favorite questions? I'm curious, actually. What are your questions that you like to ask?
When I start working with somebody?
Yeah.
I think it's more relationship based. I think the personal branding is really important. So if I kind of look at what they've accomplished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Have you done what I'm trying to do? Have you been able to do that, achieve that same result for somebody else multiple times? Do I like you?
Yeah.
That's for me, that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, the connection.
The connection, yeah.
Connectability.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah. No.
I was gonna go into, okay, I told Alistair, and this is so weird because this is my seat on Evolve. I'm like, bro, I hope I don't go into guest mode.
Host mode.
Go host mode.
Yeah. What are you trying to accomplish next with your whole ecosystem? Like, you have podcasts, you have the real estate, like you're trying to go to the next level. Talk to us about like what the next steps are for you.
Okay, so we have some stuff that I can't share that are unique to our events, okay? And those are, if you want to learn about them, you got to come to the events, okay? These are not charged events. So what we're doing is this. I'm taking the best of the best in every industry, okay? And I'm creating a community for them to connect with one another. And then business will flow naturally, okay? And then what we're going to do at these events is we're going to blow people's mind with content innovation, storytelling. How do we continue to educate them and bring the latest and greatest algorithm updates, things that other content creators are doing by having experts in their industry talking about those? So our next Evolve Your Brand workshop is a panel of different aspects of marketing, branding and marketing, experts talking about it. Not the real estate guru or the so-and-so guru. No, the person that actually does it, that's a professional, that's been vetted. And that's where I think we can help entrepreneurs. And for me, it's going to be a lot of real estate professionals. That's how we're going to help entrepreneurs really amplify their voice and then start to get that organic. Because once you create content, so let's say I came on the A-Lister show. Let's give him a plug right there. I come on Alistair's show. I get this content. I'm going to find 3 or 4 reels that I really, really like that have to do with who I am, that really align with my story. Then I'm going to run paid ads on those. Okay. And when I run the paid ads, I'm a connector. I love people. So when I talk to someone, is every single one of those leads going to convert for me? No, that's okay. But they shouldn't. Because I know as a real estate professional, not everyone is going to mesh with my personality, and that's okay. They could call me, ask me a question, I build a relationship, and if they trust me, they might not use me, but they will refer someone to me. because I brought them value. So I really believe in the Gary Vee approach, the Alex Hermosi, which is bring exponential value to help build that trust, connectability factor, then get to know the person, see if you have a connection, and then business will flow naturally. Now, what I also help people do is my services don't come at a discount. I don't discount my stuff. You know, the reason why I don't is we're doing something unique. So if someone else can provide the value that we could provide and they do it for you for less, great. Go with that option. But we've worked really, really hard. I'm 200 episodes in. We're at a different level of a show than other shows because we've been doing it longer and we're at the forefront of innovation. So when San Diego thinks of branding, I want everyone to know Evolve Your Brand community because we bring the best of the best together, and that's how we're going to collaborate and build this community out. And it's not for everyone.
Yeah. I'm curious about your podcasting journey. What are some of your favorite podcast questions to ask people? Do you have some?
I do. What's this new one? I studied Oprah and Joe Rogan, so I've been updating my questions. And my newest favorite one is tell me your favorite childhood story.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
I like that.
What are some other ones?
You know, I'm going to add this one. This is coming. What was the most challenge? Tell me the most challenging story when your business was on the line and you thought about quitting and you decided to persevere through.
That's a good one.
What did you learn?
I have a couple of them, and maybe I can ask you.
Let's go.
But for right now, I'm going to just tell you the questions, and then so a couple of them.
You're going to hit me right now?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what the questions are, and maybe we'll actually I'll just ask you the questions. How about that? Okay. So, if you could have a billboard in the middle of Times Square, what message would you want to tell to everybody? What message would you put on this billboard in the middle of Times Square?
If we want the world to change, we got to start with our kids.
Wow. Okay. Why is that?
I'm going to talk about my kids. I'm very, very concerned that the influences that they're surrounded with are not my values, and I'm their father.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be more complicated than that.
Yeah. Another question that
I hit deep on that one, didn't I?
That was deep, yeah. Yeah, and I don't have kids, so it's hard for me to like even.
I know. No. It's okay. That was for the content thing because I talk about this regularly on the show. You ask me favorite questions. I always talk about parenting on the show.
Nice.
Always.
Another one. This one is from Tim Ferriss. He says, "If you could, what's the book that you gift most often?" So instead of like, what book is your favorite book? Because a lot of times people get like tied into like, they feel like that's associated with them. What book do you gift is a little bit different.
I love it. I'm actually, so The Alchemist, I haven't read it. It's on my list. I just heard it yesterday, so I'm going to be gifting that book. The book that I have gift a lot is Atomic Habits. And then I've done Hermosi's book as a gift. So I took it to Chris Aguilar. I always believe in that anytime you go on a show, I didn't bring you a...
Wait, where's my gift?
I know. Dude, I just called myself out.
Where's my gift?
You know what? I haven't been on a podcast in a couple of months. Wow. I literally, I hope this goes viral. What a terrible, like I just sold myself out on camera. Yeah, I'll bring you a book. I'll bring you The Alchemist. That was actually, that's why.
Yeah.
Because I changed my book. Okay, folks, this is for real. I'm dying inside. I like taking a book. So Chris Aguilar, who I'm a big fan of, invited me on his show, and he's got to come on my show. Chris, I'm calling you out. He just blew my mind away with his experience. So I've taken a few things from his show, incorporated it into our show, and I'll share them with you. I just think it's about, like blow people away with that. So I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah. Okay, another one that I like to mix in there. This one I got from Joe Rogan because he pretty much asks it after every fight, right? And he says, "What, if anything, surprised you about that fight?" So just like, what, if anything, surprised you about a particular journey that you're going on? So how about your podcast? What, if anything, surprised you about growing a podcast?
Oh, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sitting down? He is actually sitting down.
Okay.
He is sitting down. Okay.
Yeah.
What surprised me is my relationships became richer when I was really my authentic self.
Do you feel like at some point you weren't your authentic self?
Oh, majority of my life. You know, I think I grew up in, the Persian culture, and every culture has its nuances, and there's no good or bad.
Are you full Persian?
Yes.
I'm half.
Yes. Yeah. But you have the best of both worlds. Yeah. Like it is what it is. So, and it's not, what I've really grasped now is I'm glad everything happened the way it did, because it allowed me the opportunity to get to this point in my life. I think that gratitude and humility, and hey, every day you work on getting a little better and doing right by people. For a majority of my life, I don't think I was influenced by what other people thought my life should have been versus, and Alistair, I think I was afraid to lose people. And now I just understand, like, hey, if you told me, hey, bro, I am moving to Bangkok and I am going to I'm going to create a new sports drink and, I'm going to take over the world. I'd be like, Alistair, go for it, bro. I'm so excited for you. I wouldn't try to talk you out of it. Like, if you showed me that you were passionate and it's like you well thought out, like, I would have your back, because the way I look at it, like, dude, that's like, we should encourage one another to live our dreams.
Yeah.
Those are the people I want around me. Mm-hmm. And that was hard. It really was hard. I've lost some people that I loved. I appreciate it. We just didn't share the same visions and goals anymore. And I think I struggled with that for a long time. And then I finally figured it out. I am very grateful I figured it out. And no longer do I say, I wish I would have figured it out earlier. No. Because we figure out things when we're supposed to figure out things.
When we're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I treat my employees, actually. So a lot of people are like, I want to hang on to this employee, keep this employee. And specifically, I'm talking about my pressure washing business, which is a home service business. They make between $25 and $30 an hour. And I don't want them to stay forever. I want them to graduate out of this stage in their life and go on and become entrepreneurs for themselves or whatever. But a lot of times they're like, yeah, I'm thinking about starting my own business. I'm like, great, bro. Let me help you with that. And I think that's why people stick with me. Like, my employees, they stick, once they come on, they're with me until something comes up to where they're gone. Like, they don't leave because they're unhappy. And it's because one of the first things I do is I ask them, like, why are you here? What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And then I ask myself, how can I help this person achieve that? And like, my guys, almost all of them, they want to go start their own business. And that's probably one of the reasons why they're working with me, because they see that I'm an entrepreneur, and that if they hang around me long enough, then they can take little tidbits and things that they can take into their own.
I think that says two things to me when I hear that. It's, first, you're attracting those kind of people. And the second, you're actually being the leader that they need to better their lives. And the kind of entrepreneur I want to be is that, I'm building a family environment and helping people achieve their life goals. I always ask people their life goals. Like, dude, if I can help you cut down the time that it gets there a little bit and you're better for it, awesome. Like, I hope you do that for someone else. And it's not always like, I think you got to be cutthroat as an entrepreneur, and a lot of people don't talk about it, but, like, your time is valuable. If you don't set boundaries on it, people are going to take advantage of your time.
Yeah.
So time is money too. Like, my time is way more important than the money. So I allocate time every single week. Like, hey, who's somebody that I meet that has that drive, that energy, and then make their day a little better, even if it's 30 minutes of my time. How do I do that?
Yeah.
And that's one. Bro, I write this down in my journal. It's so cool. What one life am I going to impact today?
You do that every day?
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. I know Tony Robbins, he has this thing. So I was on a kick for a little bit and I haven't done it for a while, but he has like this 10 to 15 minute exercise that he does in the morning where it's like, kind of like a meditation type of thing, but not really meditation. But then one of the other things he does after that is he spends like 10 minutes reaching out to people, just saying hi, hope you're doing okay, and like just like actively 10 minutes a day.
Do you
Like,
know I
imagine-
have one of those people in my life?
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Lipsy from Tycho Tylo. Like clockwork, between 6 o'clock and 6:15 a.m., he sends me a positive lesson he's learned from life. He sends that to a small circle of people.
Wow.
I mean, do you know how many days like I compliment back? And now I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do for him, to bring value to him? Like I bring Ryan value, but I'm like, dude, he's going that extra. He's doing that extra. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And it's crazy how big impact some of these small little things have. But the problem is you can't just do it once.
Yeah.
You have to be consistent about it over a long period of time, just like anything.
Do you want to know a funny fact? Okay, so I went to a golf tournament yesterday.
Do you golf? Do you play or do you watch?
Yeah, no, I play. Okay, hold on. I hit a ball with a stick. I am not a golfer. The real golfers would be insulted if I call myself a golfer. But I love being on the course. I think it's a great place to network. It's tremendous fun. And I think today marks 128 days that I haven't drank. So I'm not going there for drinking or anything like that. It's just literally to go make friends and meet amazing people. So we go out there. When I post content, people think I have an editor. No, those are all my edits, like my edits. And then they ask me and they're like, dude, you get so many compliments. They're like, oh, dude, I love your content. I'm like, I'm glad. But then they don't realize the amount of work that goes behind it because I'm constantly recording. But then the finished product, do you know why they love it?
Why?
Because I'm telling a story.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm telling a story. And that's what I want to help people get very comfortable with is let's work on our storytelling. And people will give people an opportunity to authentically connect with who we are. And Alistair, did we put on a show? Like, is this scripted or?
No.
I mean, I think we brought a crap load of value.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Today.
Yeah.
I said I was going to bring it.
You did.
How did I do?
You did amazing, man.
Really?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. This is, you're an expert. How many times are you a guest on podcasts these days?
I will be on every podcast in San Diego that shares our vision, either to help the host grow theirs or for us to collab.
How many podcasts are there in San Diego?
Over 100.
Really?
Yes.
In San Diego?
In San Diego.
Wow. Are most of them in person or?
No. Okay. So we should talk about this. Let's do Education 101 for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I think it's time. Are you ready to bring out the unspoken topic that needs to be talked about?
I'm not sure. Tell me what it is. I'll let you know if I'm ready.
Well, whether you're ready or not, we're going to be talking about it. So I'm taking over the A-Lister show for 5 minutes.
This is host Ollie. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. We're co-hosting this segment. Can we have you ever co-hosted with someone?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that would be fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm co-hosting with A-Lister on his show. What do you think about going on a show that actually is in a studio and the host having to cover all the costs to get that done? Does that make sense?
No. Okay. I mean, it kind of depends if there's somebody that can provide value.
On? Yeah.
Like if Tim Ferriss wanted to come on my show,
okay,
I'm not going to charge him anything. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying?
How come you wouldn't charge Tim Ferriss anything?
Well, because he brings value and he's someone that I would pay a lot of money to have on my network anyway.
Oh, so you would pay to have him on your stage?
I would, yeah.
So would I. So I think that's what it's very hard for entrepreneurs because we're the only show in San Diego that has outreach to successful people in our community, CEOs, the 5 best in every industry. We'll have them on Evolve Your Brand. And the reason, I like to talk about this is if I wanted to come on your show and I had no content whatsoever, I would never, ever expect you to spend your time, money, energy, and on the video production out of your pocket. And it's challenging. And so I've solved it. I think we have a solution for entrepreneurs in San Diego that want to be on shows. So my show is a full production. It costs a lot of money to put on. So I have been glad as I was growing it to take on the losses because it was learning. We're at a point where no one's coming on Evolve Your Brand, the show, without pain, because we're not at that level. Like we have that storytelling. So I think I'm making it this point to help entrepreneurs understand like how to leverage our space, podcasts and shows.
Yeah.
Now, would I pay to go on a Zoom podcast? Depends on the Zoom podcast. No, depends on the Zoom podcast. And do they use HDMI? Do they help you set up so your camera quality is good enough where you want to repurpose the content? I see a lot of Zoom meetings where I would never repurpose the content because they don't have the HDMI, the quality isn't on point. Why would you want to put that on your brand? Because that doesn't say positive things about your brand. I'm going to post content that is of the caliber of the platform that it's on. That's important. So I think this journey of helping entrepreneurs understand how they leverage us is very helpful. Hey, Ollie, I saw you on A-Lister show. What are your packages like to come on your show? Okay, well, you get you give an hour of commitment of your time. On our top package, we do a consultation. So 15 minutes with me, 10 to 15 minutes before and after. And do you know how come I added that, Alistair?
Why?
I do not want anyone to ever come on Evolve Your Brand and ever have the bad experience. Mm-hmm. I want to get people set up for success. So on our packages, the top one includes one-on-one time if they're not comfortable. Right. So anyone new, I always encourage them, go with that because you'll get some time with me. And then that's how we set them up to really capture their story. It's not about scripting. It's about connecting in advance. So when they come, you were on Evolve Your Brand. How was your experience?
I mean, I had a great experience. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great studio, obviously great host, and yeah, super high quality content, and it was a lot of fun.
Would you share the content that we created?
Hell yeah.
Okay, did you see that? Like you said, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. My people want to share the content we're creating. And I was dropping the ball because this is what I've learned, Alistair. You want to make an impact on your guest? Make sure after the show is done, they're leveraging the content.
Yeah.
So we have a follow-up, we just hired an experience manager.
That sounds important.
Not a salesperson. We hired an experience manager. His number one job is to make sure every guest has a 5-star experience. What does it take to deliver that? How many businesses do you know in San Diego that operate with those standards?
Very few.
Okay. That's what we're building. The community that we build is all built on trust and reputation and helping people. Dude, I went and saw one of the best law firms in San Diego, Business Journal Top 50. Do you know how many reviews they have on Google? 25.
Wow.
They have been in business for over a decade. So the feedback we're going to give them is, hey, we went and did a lot of research and we were surprised. Here are some free strategies of how people are growing their Google reviews. Are we charging them anything? Not at all. Hey, we already did this research. We figured we pass it along. If it brings you value, great. If it doesn't, no problem. What if they take that and their reviews go to 100? What's their opinion of Evolve Your Brand and what we do to help our community?
They had great value.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we're building. Bro, and that's impact. Did I talk at all about money? The money will come because if you provide value and people see the value in it for themselves, I think the rest is kind of a no-brainer. This is a video testimonial for Alistair, the A-Lister show himself. I appreciate this guy. This is one of the hardest working people in the past 12 months that has impressed me beyond measure. I have recorded 200 episodes on my show, and I've learned a lot from him. He got the plaque sooner than I did, and congratulations. I would highly recommend coming on this, working with him in advance to feed him some questions. That way he gets to know who you really are because he'll do right by you by asking you engaging questions that will help you create content that you can post on your platform. So definitely recommend the A-Lister show.
Thank you. Thank you. And before we wrap up here, another question that I like to ask is, is just asking people what question should I have asked you during the show? Like what's one question that, or what's one thing you wanted to talk about that maybe we didn't cover?
Yeah. What is it that entrepreneurs are not getting right when it comes to their branding strategy?
Tell us about that.
Okay. So the marketing space is very difficult to navigate because they can't give you a tangible ROI. So what they do is make up imaginative ROIs, and then every CEO is disappointed because the marketer can't ever deliver on that. So I would just say to all entrepreneurs, the branding and marketing strategy is a long game. So please look at it as such. And if you have the revenue and resources to go get a talented creative director, please do it. If you don't, then learn how to leverage resources overseas. Go meet some people that are already doing the branding that you like. Reach out to them and ask for some help. And please, if you're successful at what you do and you provide a great experience, get your message out there because nobody else is doing it for you.
That's 100% accurate. 100%. All right. So we're about to wrap up here. Any last message you want to share with the audience?
We are very lucky to live in San Diego.
Yes.
There are so many heroes in our city that do incredible things. I am going to be the champion of all of your brand is going to go above and beyond. So if you know someone that you think we need to share their story or help them, we love that. We're all about that. So we're all about our community as a hometown, continue to do positive things, make impact on one person, and then let's get to freaking work.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. How can people get in touch with you?
How you can get in touch with me is many ways. So my Instagram is the real Ollie Amirkhiz. You have your evolveyourbrand.live. So that's our new website. And when it comes to mortgages, it's pretty simple. Just send me a DM and then we'll put my contact information, phone number, all that good stuff. And definitely subscribe to his channel. And then we'll put the link and go and check out our content on Evolve Your Brand. We hope we brought you some value. If you have any comments on what we could have done better, please drop them too.
Let us know. Ollie, my man, thank you so much for joining me today. Was this fun? You enjoyed it?
Alistair, I'm a little jealous. When you sat in that seat, I've been looking at your plaque. So if the plaque goes missing for one day, I have little Alistair envy. So I just want to touch his plaque.
Okay. I'll let you touch my plaque.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
guys. There's been another amazing episode of the A-Lister Show. Subscribe. Let us know your comments. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.